months to build it. Actually, it's going to take you 6 months and 2 weeks to build it. So you won't have that built-in quick fill list until 6 months and 2 weeks after the time you started. This goes back to, the law of cause and effect, the law of attraction, the law of sowing and reaping. We have to plant the seeds now so that we can reap later. Okay? And we've got to be diligent and we've got to be consistent with it. I'm sorry?
I just said we do that at Dr. Z's office. I just was speaking. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So, once you book out 6 months plus 2 weeks, you need to, how many of you still use postcards? Like, how many of you still send patients postcards? Beautiful. I love postcards. Even with the revenue wells and even with all of the electronic patient communication systems, I really still like the postcards. And the reason I like the postcards is because what we've recommended for years is that at the time you pre-appoint their next 6-month visit, you're going to have the patient complete their own postcard. They're going to go and they're going to fill out their name and their address, and they're going to fill out their appointment time and all that. Yeah, they're going to fill out their appointment time. And what that's going to do, 2 things happen when we have them do that. The first thing that happens is now, instead of me appointing the patient, which, by the way, when I appoint a patient, who owns that appointment? You do. I do. But if I help the patient find a time that works for them, and they're filling out the postcard, at the time they fill out the postcard, I have just transferred ownership to them. The other thing that happens in that moment, or actually not at that moment, but 6 months later, is when that patient gets the postcard in the mail, it comes in their handwriting, and it serves as what we call a pattern handwriting. They actually stop, and they notice it, because who mails themselves stuff? Who mails themselves stuff? So they'll stop and actually look at it. It won't just be like bill, jump, 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 bill, jump, jump, jump. It'll stop them in their tracks. We call that a pattern interrupt. And so we want to book 6 months plus 2 weeks, and we want to have the patient fill out their own reminder card. The next step in your ReCare system is the follow-up process. Now, with the invention of smartphones, you can also, at the time you book the appointment, you can also ask the patient to plug it into their calendar on their smartphone. That, again, serves as a transference of ownership. Okay? So, they've got their postcard. We've got them pre-appointed. Now, what you should expect, and write this in your notes, you should expect at least 90% of your patients to go ahead and schedule. You should expect 90% of your patients to go ahead and schedule. Some of you will find more than that, some of you will find less than that. And we tend to recommend to go ahead and get it scheduled before the visit starts. That way it's done, and if hygiene runs behind, or if the doctor's check runs behind, it's not an afterthought where you're busy trying to turn over the room and get the next patient back, and it slips through the cracks. Okay? Third step in your ReCare system is to mail those postcards out. Not 6 months. Mail those postcards out no more than 3 weeks before their appointment, but no less than 2 weeks before their appointment. So mail them out to the patient, and mail the postcards weekly. Don't mail out a stack of cards once a month. If we're mailing out a stack of cards once a month, what ultimately happens is some patients are getting them a week before their visit, others are getting them 4 to 6 weeks before. Mm-hmm. And we want everyone to have the exact same experience. So mail them out 3 weeks, preferably, no more than 3, no less than 2. And then we're going to give them a little time to receive the postcard. Okay? Once they get the postcard, 1 week prior to this patient's scheduled visit, they're going to receive a call from someone at our office. The purpose of this phone call is twofold. The purpose of the phone call is, number 1, to verify they got the postcard. Did you get your postcard? I just want to make sure that the date and time that you have reserved, listen to the language here, not the date and time of your appointment, but again, sticking with the ownership that was transferred as we scheduled it. It's, hey Ashley, this is Reagan from Dr. Z's office. How are you doing? How was the bike ride?
It was awesome.
Pretty awesome. Listen, I'm just calling to see if you received your postcard about your upcoming visit with Mary.
I did.
Perfect. So does Thursday, the 19th of October at 10 o'clock, does that still work well with your schedule, the time that you reserved?
Yes.
Perfect. Then one thing I did want to check with you, and this is just kind of an added layer. This is not in your workbooks, but you might write it down. And this will really support the front desk as well in streamlining. But one of the other things I might ask Ashley is, so Ashley, what insurance do you have now, and will we be filing it for you? So do you still have Delta?
Yeah, yes.
Still have Delta? If you would, bring that card in with you, just so we can make sure all the benefits are the same and we can get you in and get you out on time. Would that work? Okay, perfect. We'll see you Thursday at 10.
Okay.
That's the end. So, now I've verified if we're going to be doing insurance, and I've verified if she still has the same insurance. Now that doesn't mean that Ashley may or may not bring me a card for a different insurance. That is not what that means. But at least I planted a seed. It's at least a way to screen. Does that make sense? It's just a way to screen. So now that I've done that, I hang up and then I wait. And 24 to 48 hours, depending on what your broken reservation fee is, 24 to 48 hours, I'm going to place a courtesy call to Ashley. The purpose of this call, and there are a few different samples in your workbooks about ways this call can be handled, and I would ask you to find one that works for you, where you can be natural and authentic and genuine, but that still accomplishes the same thing we want to accomplish. So in your workbook, you can ask, hey Ashley, it's Reagan, how are you? Hey, Mary's really looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. And I was just wondering, is there anything that could possibly keep you from making it, like anything going on with your kids or anything that could possibly keep you from keeping your reservation?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. Is there anything that we can do to make your visit more pleasant and more comfortable? A pillow? Perfect. I am going to make a note so that Jenny knows to have a pillow waiting in your seat. That way you're as comfortable as you can possibly be. Thank you so much. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 10. Now, I could also ask Ashley if she has outstanding treatment in her chart. I could also ask her how that's doing. I might say something like, Ashley, I was noticing the last time you were in, you were having a little bit of sensitivity on the upper left, but it wasn't debilitating or anything. How is that doing? Do you want me to have Dr. Mont to take a look at that tomorrow?
Sure.
Has it been bothering you at all? On and off, just a little bit? Perfect. I'm going to make a note to make sure that he takes a close look at that tomorrow, just to make sure it hasn't progressed, and just to see what might be going on, okay? Perfect. So we'll look forward to seeing you in the morning. Have a great rest of your day. And that's it. Now, you will notice in both of those phone calls, I never used, I'm just calling to remind you of your appointment.
Yeah.
And I never said I'm just calling to confirm that you're going to be here. But what I have accomplished in both of those conversations is ultimately confirming she's going to be here. But I also took the time to get back into rapport with Ashley. See, when you guys come through session 2 and session 3, we're going to spend a lot of time training you on how to get in rapport with people you don't even know, and how to have them like you instantly and not know why. Subconscious communication and subconscious influence skills. It's really just about connecting with people and trying to enter their space, and it is a level of emotional intelligence with other people. So we're going to share some of that with you guys when you come through Marketing and Enrollment Mastery. And we're actually going to touch on it at session 2. So you can start developing those those really effective, really elegant communication skills. Okay? So, I'm sorry? Yes, ma'am.
Like in our system, we have some of our patients like text messages
Mhm.
for their appointments. Is it still okay to do that? I mean, would you still do any of these calls if they've confirmed their appointment with the text
Yes.
message?
If they have confirmed their appointment with a text message, I would still make the courtesy call. I might not do the 1 week call, but I'd still make the courtesy call. Because the courtesy call is just that. It's, because you remember this, most patients coming through your Recare program have not heard from you. They have not talked to you. They have had no touch with you in 6 months. So there is no rapport in that 6 months. How many of you agree with this, by the way? See, there has been no touch, no rapport, nothing for 6 months. And even though technology is wonderful and we want to use that for efficiency, dentistry is a personal business. It is a business of connecting and taking care of people. And so we can't lose the human element. And I will tell you this, Angela and Dr. B, all of the coaches in Fortune have seen this. Anytime a practice signs up with Revenue Well or Demand Force or whomever, and we use that system to confirm appointments and all that kind of stuff, if we rely on that solely, what we have noticed is their no-shows increase. Their broken appointments increase. Because it's easy to ignore a text. It's easy to no-show on an email. It's just easy to do. But when I have a relationship with someone, I feel guilty if I don't show up for them. I feel guilty. It's not like I'm no-showing on a system. It's like I'm no-showing with Michelle. So it creates a little bit, response, but that's not the word. It invokes that pain-pleasure principle.
It's rapport.
It is, but I would feel bad breaking my word with Michelle. If it's just a text or if it's, how many of you feel guilty when you keep getting the email after email after email from Best Buy about their promos or from, how many of you really feel guilty opening up your email in the morning and saying, delete. Who else does this? Of course you do. Delete. Because we don't want to waste our time on stuff that is of no interest to us right now. And your patients are going to do the same thing. They're just like us. So we need that personal touch point with them in between. Yes, ma'am?
Is it really worth, in another practice I work at, they have Demand Force, is it really worth having that?
It is.
And still, because we still confirm.
It is, and I'll tell you why. Now, it's not worth it if all you're going to use it for is your confirmations.
That's all we need.
Well, then, to make a return on that investment, you need to look into other ways you can use it. Because I know Revenue Well and Solution Reaches and all of those systems, you can send birthday cards to your patients, you can send anniversary notices, you can send out notifications that, let's say you're doing a whitening special and it'll send out a blast email. You can send emails to patients who have outstanding treatment. You can send emails to patients before the end of the year, before all of their dental benefits expire. You can send a blanket email out to them at the start of the year when benefits renew. You can let them know about office parties, community happenings. You can use it as an ongoing educational tool. So if you use it in all of its functions, it is very well worth it. Very well worth it. And a lot of those systems will allow you to track the efficiencies. Like one of my clients up in Madison, Tennessee, he just signed on with Revenue Well. And we've been in a relationship since February, okay? And they've been doing Revenue Well. They sent out an email one day to patients. Now they've been calling and they've been doing reactivation, which is something we're going to talk about next. So they've been reaching out to patients to bring them back. And the ladies have had some success some lack of success. I'm gonna tell you why in a minute, then I'm gonna tell you when they shifted their belief, what they saw.